Technova Rupendra Singh. Also, we have our GitHub Students Club President, Sheikh Parvez Ahmed. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity of hosting today's program. And a very warm welcome to all the audience out here. Your presence is much appreciated. First of all, let me highlight on session today. Date 7th of August 2021, time 11 a.m. Title Open Source Contribution. Event organized by GitHub Students Club and team. And I, Ankita Jaswal, will be the host for today's program. Before beginning, I am humbled to invite Vishal sir to say a few words and grace the program.
Thank you, Ankita, for giving me opportunity. It is a great pleasure to welcome you all the students during this 2 days workshop on open source technologies, and a great pleasure to have Susmita to accept the request for being a speaker of this program. And the coordinator and the architect of this program is Parvez, Siddharth, Ritik, and other GitHub team members. I must congratulate to all the members, and you are doing wonderful things in the peer-to-peer learning programs. All the best.
I'll start with a huge motivation was very much needed. Thank you so much, sir, for your words. Additionally, we couldn't imagine anything better than to hear a couple of words from Rani ma'am. Ma'am, please take your time.
Yes, good morning, everyone. And it's a pleasure to me to be here as we are conducting the Technical Society events, Technova. Okay, so it's very thankful to me, and you people are doing very great job. And in the last month also, you have also delivered P2P courses also. That is very what you call inspirational to other students, and I'm humbly request to join more and more people for this society, and so that each and every person get to know how we are going in our society. So many technical activities are going to happen in the future also, and still we are doing very good. You people are doing very good job. It's very motivating for all the students, and all the your juniors also, and for the coming up students also. Okay, so keep it up and keep going and keep doing this technical society events each and every phase of activity and in the life. Okay, and thank you so much for inviting me, and keep it up and keep going, doing like this activities. And I am that's Rupender is there, and Varish is there, and the secretary is there. Okay, so keep it up. Thank you so much, and you can start your activity now. So Vasmita, keep it up, and it's good to know you are doing this types of activities also. Very good. Okay,
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Chalo. Now you carry on.
Thank you, ma'am.
Siddharth and Parvez, everyone.
Thank you so much,
Keep it
ma'am.
up in spite of busy in your replacement activity also. You are doing these things. It's very good. Okay, and very motivational to other students also.
Thank you, ma'am, for accepting our request to be part
Thank
of
you
this
so much,
program.
sir, for inviting me. No, no.
Oh, ma'am,
Thank you, sir.
please. Thank you.
Thank you
Yes,
so much, ma'am, for your words.
it's one of this. All of you, who is the anchor, who is the presenter, please keep on switch on your camera. Only then it will look like a live. Okay, everyone who is in the speaker mode, then please switch on your camera. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your word. Also,
Yes.
we have our president of Technova, Rupendra sir. Sir, please say a few words of encouragement.
Just a second, can I just connect my microphone with it?
Sure, sir. Okay.
Hello everyone, how are you all? You can just unmute yourself, and that will be really great if we can have an interaction with you all people. So how are you all?
Pretty well, bro.
That's great. That's great.
Pretty
Good.
fine.
So it's really good to see you people joining back again in the second session, second part of the peer-to-peer learning session. The conclusion, the result of the first session was really well. We are putting a lot of hard work in this. Me, Pravesh, and every other member of Technical Society is putting a lot of hard work in this to make this thing happen. And seeing you people being here, giving tests, and the attendance of you, seeing people joining in, it's really overwhelming for all of us in a positive way, obviously. And I'll say again, Pravesh will share a feedback form. Do fill that form. It's really important. If you want anything, if you don't want anything, just write in that form. That is really beneficial, really helpful for us to conduct these classes in a better way in future, right? So yes, just learn well, do well in life, and yes, if you need anything, just tell me. If you need any classes, I always say this, and I'll say this today also. You probably bored of hearing this, but yes, I'll say this today also, that if you want anything, just tell, do let me know. Probably I might not be able to reply on the same day, or on the same hour, because of we also are really busy in a lot of things. But yes, I'll definitely reply on that. I'll definitely reply on that message. And yes, do fill the feedback form. Pravesh just circulate the feedback form after the class is done. Pravesh?
Okay, one more thing, Rupinder.
Yes,
I would
ma'am.
like to say that you must more concentrate on the BCA students. They needs more technical supports than, because
BCA
so
and
many
BSc
subjects
students,
are
ma'am.
not in their curriculums.
Definitely.
That's what the Python was courses was running in the last session. It was very good, and so
Yes, ma'am.
many students are from the BCA itself.
BC and BSc both were there.
Okay, so just focus on that students, so we can connect the more people.
Definitely, ma'am. I do personally contact BC and BSc students. I have like numbers of some of them, probably the CRs or the good students, and I personally contact them and tell them that this is happening and you should join this and circulate this in your class. So I'm trying
Yes,
to increase
do.
just the overall involvement of non-BTech students, basically,
Yes, yes.
because that was what needed at the time.
So in that way, we can give them some technical support also. They are very
Exactly,
much not that much sound in the technical field. So
exactly, ma'am.
please connect with them, all the
Definitely,
BSc, BCA students.
definitely, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Now you can carry on your activity.
Exactly. Exactly. So
Okay.
best of luck to all of you, and yes, learn well and do well. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.
Thank you for giving a quick start to the program. Thank you for your words. You have always been motivating and supportive. Heading on to the program, open source contribution. Contributing to the development or improvement of open source software, application, or anything. The open source initiative was founded in February 1998 to encourage use of the new term and evangelize open source principles. It is genuine interest of coding and or a belief in the project that has motivated people in contributing to open source. Open source contribution can be amazing learning experience. It allows you to give back to and be a part of community that build valuable open source software. It enables you to make software that you use better. Although it can be tough to start, once you get hang of it, it is immensely rewarding. So let's not stretch much. We have our speaker Subhashmita Swain, who will help you understand and answer all your whys and hows. Subhashmita, please begin with the session.
Well, thank you, Ankita. Hello, everyone. I hope you all are doing well. My name is Subhashmita, as Ankita introduced. I'm a third-year computer science student at Sharda, and today we are going to dive deep into open source. I'll guide this. This is a 2 days workshop, so I'll guide everything. I'll start today with the introduction part, and tomorrow we'll have a complete hands-on workshop with your first contribution. Even if you haven't started or you don't know anything, there's no need to worry. Open source is for everyone. So can we just start with the presentation? Hello?
Yeah, Subhashmita, you can. Yeah, definitely.
I'll just present the screen. I hope my screen is visible now.
Yeah, it's visible.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Okay. So, there's absolutely no need to worry if you don't know anything about open source or you have just come across this word. I'll try to explain each and everything as easy as I can. All right. So, okay. What exactly is open source? Before diving deep into how it is done, why it is done, when it is done, let's just focus on what exactly is open source. Like, open source software is a distributed software that is made freely available to be developed and utilized by members of the community. What do we mean by this? You must have heard of Firefox browser, Linux kernel, or the VLC player that you use today. Haven't you heard?
Yes, ma'am.
So, and please don't call me ma'am. I'm maybe a senior or a same year from you, so you can just call me Swati, okay? So, those software like these Firefox browser, the Linux kernel, the VLC player, or even you might have heard about React JavaScript framework. So that is being developed and hosted by Facebook. These all projects, these all applications are open source. That means you can go to the repository, the code base. It is freely available on GitHub, and you can watch how these projects are made from scratch. You can get hold of the basic uh, how this thing was born, how it is being developed, how new features are being added to it. You can get everything there. And also the best part, you can also contribute to it, and you can call yourself a contributor that yes, I did contribute to React. Isn't that amazing? So like for example, if you take an example, like say you take the example of React, okay, you can go to the project repository and the GitHub, and you will see this is maintained. You might be a bit overwhelmed at the beginning, but don't worry. I'll tell you the exact steps on how you can proceed, and you will not feel overwhelmed after that. Okay, and you will see a lot of contributors, a lot of technologies that are complex that are being used. So you don't need to worry about that. No need to worry about that. Just focus if you want to learn that particular project or that particular technology deep. You have to if you need to have a deep understanding of it, so you can just get started with it. I'll come to that later on how you can contribute or how you can get involved in it. Let's just now discuss the importance of open source in software engineering. Why we as students should bother about contributing to these large projects, and what would we get out of it? It can be overwhelming. It is overwhelming. I will not say it can be. It is overwhelming. When I first started with my contribution, I couldn't get hold of anything for at least 1 month. I was so overwhelmed to see such large code base that I was very afraid of proceeding with anything. But that was a mistake. You shouldn't be, and it's okay. It's okay. It's fine if you at the beginning, if you feel like it's very difficult, you can break it in chunks and start from the very little thing. Okay, so let's discuss the benefits. First, we would be able to apply our knowledge and programming skills to practical use. uh, just a second, sorry for the disturbance. Sorry, my pet was there, so okay. So we would be able to apply our knowledge and programming skills to practical use. How is that? We are learning a lot of things every day. We as students, we are learning Python, Java, we are learning web development, we are learning Android development. So all of these things needs to be utilized somewhere, needs to be practiced so that you know that you have mastered that particular technology. So open source can be a very good way to do that. Also, writing code that ensures industry standards and is clean and easy to understand is the emphasis of open source. Like uh, the code you write, the code you contribute to any open source software will be checked or will be reviewed by everyone using that software. So it's naturally a fact that you will be aware that you will be more focused in writing more readable and documented code. This will improve our coding standards and also our personal development in terms of programming skills. Secondly, you gain a lot of recognition. The code you write or any contribution you make to the community gives you a lot of recognition amongst the community. How is that? The recognition that you end up getting while, like, for example, if you contribute, if you add any new feature to a particular project, you will be appreciated by the community members, you will be appreciated by the project maintainers, and this will end up with a lot of networking opportunities with potential employers, and ultimately this will open doors for internships or even job offers from them. So this has a lot of benefits. I cannot explicitly mention each and every opportunity or every benefit, but I'll try to explain the basic and the most important uh, factors of it. Okay. So moving on to our third point is that by contributing to your open source project, you will get a better understanding of technologies that are being used at a much deeper level. What we do as students is, I'm telling about my experience. What I did in first year was I tried to explore every technology. I took hold of every, like, Python and Java, and I started learning those programming languages. But I never used practical use. Okay, so I never understood the core concepts or the very deep concepts of it. As I began contributing to open source softwares, I started to realize how much depth it has, how much knowledge it has to be gained. So it makes you an expert in that field. For example, if you want to master Python, you can contribute to some repository that is proficient in Python. If you want to master machine learning, you can contribute to a repository named or organization named TensorFlow. You can learn a lot from it, a lot. I explicitly cannot express that how much important your contribution or your learning will be from there, since you also get to interact with a lot of people, a lot of important people who are directly working in the TensorFlow organization, and you can directly receive guidance from them. That is a huge benefit. Also, this the experience you gain will also help in the long run when you build your own product or release them into the market. For example, if you start for tomorrow in the next phase, if you start a company or if you start a startup with a product, you need to have a product, right? So you need to know the exact workflow of it, how a product is made, how you can improve it, how to take feedback from people using it, how do you plan your workflow or your pipeline, like what this first release would be, what the second release would be, how you can improve with the updates, all of these things. We cannot get these idea by doing just mere projects and course curriculums. You need to have practical experience on it. So that's how you get it. I hope I'm very clear to all of you. If you have any problem in between, you can just unmute yourself and ask. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
So moving on to our fourth. Also, by the way, if you have a clear view of the project that you're working, you can also work for that company as well. You can get. You can join that organization and they will happily take you in. So you don't need to worry about any kind of job placements and all. So that's a different part, but there's a way. Okay. So for your piece of code, like whatever you're writing, whatever you're contributing, every little piece of contribution are being used by thousands of people who use the application. For example, uh, uh, like you say that in a Firefox browser, this browser we use every day, okay, and you see the web page is slowing down for some time. You don't know why it is happening, but you have been involved in the Firefox open source community. So you go to that repository, you raise the issue, okay, you tell the people that there is a problem, the web page is slowing down, it is not responding interactively. So people will come, the maintainers will come, you will all discuss about it, and you might get a chance that you find out what the issue is, and you see it's a very little minor bug that is causing this issue, and you fix that. Okay, you go and you fix that, you get it approved by your maintainers, the project maintainers, and that's it. You helped thousands of people with just a single line of change. You helped solve a problem that was very worrisome for some people who, like me, who use the Firefox every day. So it can be very irritating to see it slowing down. So you solved my problem, even like you solved thousands of people's problem. So it's a very good way to help people indirectly or directly. And yes, that's what I said, solve real life problems affecting thousands of people. Your code will be utilized by people, and that's what software engineering stands for. We solve real life problems, we are engineers, isn't it? I'm not getting any response. I hope you all are not sleeping.
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Is it,
Yeah, we are getting you, ma'am.
so is it clear until now?
Yes, ma'am. It's clear.
Yes.
So you have any doubts?
Yes, ma'am.
You have any doubts? Hello?
No doubt.
Ma'am.
No doubt, ma'am.
Okay, let's move on. How we as students can get involved in open source. So at the beginning we learned what open source is, what open source has been, what all benefits open source has for us, and what advantages it has for why do we need to get started and why do we get involved. But how to get involved? The question arises, how should we get involved? Let's consider you're just beginning. I'm taking everything from the basic ground, okay, so that you get to understand. Like you're just beginning with your engineering course, like you are in your first year, first semester. So first you need to learn the tech stack you're familiar with. You need to acknowledge yourself that you are comfortable in which language or which technology, like in Java or C++ or Python, Kotlin, or anything, any programming language. Okay, you just need to figure out for yourself that yes, I'm comfortable in Python or I'm comfortable in Java. So I would proceed with this language. Okay, just don't need to worry. You remember, just remember one thing, that every you don't need to be an expert to start contributing to open source. Everyone can contribute to open source. Okay, even if it's just a newbie or a beginner who doesn't know anything, you can learn while contributing. That's the beauty of open source. And the people and the community you will get involved, they are so helping and so welcoming that you will never feel that you are being left out, or you are a new people or you're a new student, so you don't know anything much about this project and you are being left out. They will try each and everything to make you learn and to get you involved in that project. Okay, so there are few websites. Where do we find the question now arises, where do we find these projects? Where do we find how we will contribute to this project. Okay, how we will choose this project is right for us and we should start with it. I'll show you one. Like, you go to Google and you go to the Google Summer of Code website. Okay, this is just one website. There are numerous websites. I will explain, I will list, I will show everything to you. So just stay with it, okay? You see here, over here, this is the Google Summer of Code web page. Over there, let's move on to the organizations tab. All right. So Google Summer of Code is a internship alternative, you can say. This is an open source program that happens every year during the summer, where people or students take part in particular organizations. I will not go much deep into the application part. I'll explain that later. Let's just know how you can choose an organization for yourself, like which project you should start contributing to it. For example, if you see over here the search for an organization, this tab, just type Python. For example, if you are comfortable in Python, just type Python and you will see a lot of projects that work in Python are listed over here. You can choose to explore all of these, all right, or else you can choose any one of the project. Okay, over here you can choose this Python. The Python software itself is open source, so you can contribute to that directly as well. So you know how much Python is popular these days, why all the machine learning students are using Python and all of those packages and all those utilizing things that are being developed in Python, or all are being developed by students like us. So there's a huge opportunity for all of you. So for example, if we just let's just start with Python only. You click over here, you see the technologies required. Over here, this will list the technologies. You don't get disheartened if you see that there's only one thing you know and the rest you don't know. For example, in this, if you know Python but you don't know Django, so you don't need to worry. You can learn while contributing to the software. There's absolutely no need to worry. Okay, so these are the topics that this year's project is hosting. To learn more about it, just learn more. Go to this learn more, and you can see the ideas list that are being listed for the Google Summer of Code this year. But if you want to see the repository, just go to your GitHub. Okay, just search Python and you see the topic. Okay. See over here, you get a lot of repositories who have Python in them, who use Python. You can start with anything. I will suggest you to start with a big project. I like, not unlike everyone, I won't tell you to start from small. I will tell you to start from the big project because you will learn a lot from them. Okay. So like, for example, if you start with TensorFlow. TensorFlow is just a machine learning open source framework. Okay. It helps it makes machine learning very easy. You go over here, the first and foremost thing that you should remember doing while contributing, while selecting any project, is that you need to go through their documentation very well. Very well. I'm repeating it, you should go through the documentation very well. Because if you skip the documentation, you might face some problem that that is simply given in the documentation. So you would be wondering, where should I get the solution from? Just to avoid the later hassle, you can read the documentation. You can go through this one, how you can install. All of this is guided. Okay, how you can get installed. We will get tomorrow we'll do the hands-on, so you will get to know how a project is set up, how you can contribute, everything. Okay, so just follow this one for the time being. Okay, so you see these are the resources. They have also listed out resources where you can learn about TensorFlow. How cool is that? Okay. So they also, some of them also have their YouTube channels, so you can go there and learn from that as well. So just basically read the documentation, learn about that project a bit, try to contribute. Don't try to contribute then and there. Just follow it. Okay, just use that. You need to first, just over here, like you need to fork this one. You fork it and you set up that in your local machine and you use that project. Until and unless you use any product or application, you cannot tell how this is working. And you need to be a user first before becoming a developer. So start using the project or the software that you are interested in. For example, you are using something like any JavaScript framework you are using. You're developing a game. Okay, so you're developing a game, and you want to use a 3D software. So you get the library, the framework like the 3JS JavaScript framework library. Okay, so over there you use that. You make awesome 3D games using that, and but you don't know how this is being internally worked, but you're very interested in it. So what you do is go to their repository like 3JS. Go to the repository 3JS. I think they have listed it in the JavaScript. You can go there. You can just, like, this is also a framework of JavaScript Vue.js where you create a single page application. This React that I was telling you about, this is being hosted by Facebook. That means if you develop or if you contribute to React, you are directly contributing or getting involved with Facebook. How cool is that? So you go to there. Okay. You read all the documentation. You have used this particular application in your projects and you know a little of it. Okay. So there in your documentation, they will guide you, they will list you, or they will point you towards the good first issues. You go to that good first issues. Since you're a beginner, it's very approachable to start with good first issues. So there you can see we have collected some good first issues for you. Just click on it and you will be landed up with the issues that are being marked for beginners. Like this one is this is being tagged as good first issue, good first issue, good first issue. The difficulty is also being tagged as medium. So you can see all of these before contributing. Okay, before contributing, you have read the documentation. Just check the list. You know a particular language. You have read. You went to the repository and you get familiar with the code base. You read their documentation, and no need to worry about all of these stuff. Okay? All of this stuff, you don't need to worry about all of this. You don't need to know everything about this. You are only concerned with the part you are trying to solve. For example, if you are trying to solve this issue, okay, this React Dev Tools on Firefox initially shows an empty blank component here. This is an issue. This was opened 2 days ago by someone, some user or someone. Okay, so you go to this issue. So you see where this issue is concerned. Where should we look for this? The issue will have a description to it attached to it, so you can get over here. Like they have told where you can find this issue, what is the problem, how you can reproduce this issue on your local machine, and then you can proceed. Okay, and at the last, if you don't feel very comfortable or very confident that you should try this or not, you can just simply ask over here that, hey, maintainer or any someone who is in charge of this or this particular issue opener, what is his name, anyone. Okay, I am interested in solving this issue. I'm new to this community. Can you point me to some resources for getting started? Thanks. This is how you approach or ask for taking up this issue. You don't need to fight. You don't need to explicitly be just a simple thing. You have to be respectful. If you are respectful towards other people in the community, they will be respectful to you as well. This is how you ask for them to some help. The people who are maintaining this one, they will guide you on how you can solve this. They will even take you to personal assistance as well. Like if they see you are really interested in solving this problem, they will particularly, they may be a Facebook employee as well, so they will particularly guide you, like you can do this, then next this, then this. And one thing, let me just clear it up. If you don't want to get started very quickly, you want to learn about it, just join their mailing list, okay, their chat, where you can start. Like, also they have a contributing guide where you can learn about the code of conduct and the contributing guide. Like if you're a first timer, what uh, template you should follow, how you should contribute, where you should get started. Everything is listed. Everything. Look over here. See, there's a full document on how you should get started, where you should file your bugs or report any kind of issue that you are facing while using it, how you can get in touch with them. Here is the IRC. This is the mailing list. This is the platform where all the people interact. This is the only place where you can get your problem solved. You don't, please, never ever personally reach out to any maintainer or any member of the community. First, try to Google the issue. Make Google your best friend for the time, and try to Google your issue. Try to solve it on your own. Even if you, after a lot of attempts, you cannot solve, you can just really go to their mailing list. Okay, you can go to their mailing list. Oh well, I have to sign up. Looks like. So just you need to sign up here, and you will see a chat window. You can join their channel, and like the discussion forums. Okay, like the discussion forums, and you can ask your issue over there. But be respectful. Before asking, you need to tell them what you have done. Like, right? So you have to tell that I tried to solve this. I got hold of this particular issue. I was trying to solve it by using this one. I have also tried this one, but I am not able to resolve it. How should I proceed? Can anyone? This is a wrong approach. Some help would be appreciated. You should proceed like this, respecting the other people's sentiments as well, and no need to rush. These are all people. They are all employees, the maintainers. They are very busy. They may be busy in their day-to-day tasks. So you just have to be patient and wait for their reply. Someone or the other in the community will surely help. It is guaranteed that your issue will not be left to stale, but it will get resolved. So that's how you can proceed. I'll repeat again. You go to a repository. You go to a website like the Google Summer of Code. You search an organization. You choose an organization that you are interested in. The tech stack that matches the organization that matches your tech stack. You go to their GitHub repository. Okay, and over there you learn about that project. First, you set it up. After reading the documentation, you set up your project in a local repository. Okay, and then you do what is, I'll just show you it. For example, I want to contribute to React, so I will first poke this repository. Okay, to your own GitHub profile. Okay, this will take some time, and yes, this is set up on your local account. So from here in the code, just copy this link and go to a folder. Okay. Just go to a folder, for example, this one. You need to have Git set up in your browser. Okay. You just need to type git clone. This is a command. We'll look into more about it tomorrow. So it looks like I did not paste it. Just a second. Okay, you paste it and enter. This will clone the repository for you in your local file. Okay. This will take some time. It will bring all of these to your machine. Now you don't have to go each and every file or everything, because it can be very overwhelming for beginners. You read the documentation, you see the code of conduct, also the contributing guidelines, and you now move on to good first issue. In the good first issue, for example, you start with this one. You see, some people have already commented what this issue is. You just go through it, learn about all of these. You see, people are asking for working on it. They have assigned them to do the work. See, this person has worked. You see how he has maintained the changes, how he has expressed his changes. You need to follow this. Okay, and then the maintainers. This is a maintainer, I guess. This is one of my, yes, this is a maintainer. He will collaborate. He will ask you to improve if you have some improvements, and he will just completely guide you. Okay, and see, this is how this workflow goes. And finally, this PR gets merged. Okay, this PR gets merged. That means this person's contribution was directly merged to the React repository and is being used by people like us. And this might seem very difficult or hard to some of you. At least it looks to me, since I'm not very much familiar with React. So what you can do is, I'll tell you the simple steps you can do. Just start with the documentation. Don't worry about any code or anything. While you read the documentation, you see that like you're reading this line. Okay, you see over here some kind of grammatical errors, or you see there's not much information given on the installation part. You need more reference, or you need more context to it. You want that I need a complete full guide on how this installation works. So you can just go to there over here, issues, and you can create a new issue. Create a new issue. These will guide. These are the pre-built templates on what kind of issue you're trying to put up. Like you're being put up this documentation issue. So what you do is you just open to the documentation file. This issue tracker is not for documentation. Please file documentation issues here. Okay, they have transferred the documentation issue to something like react.js.org. They are not tracking the documentation over this repository, but they have directed you towards this one. So you write the title, a very specific title on what needs to be changed. You also define the whole thing that needs to be changed. Like you see a grammatical mistake or something that is not very clear in the documentation. You say that as a beginner, I was going through this repository and I found that this documentation is outdated and it needs to be improved. Okay, like React might be using some kind of technology which is a new version is there, of which a new version is there. So you can also ask them that a new version is available in the market. So can we just move on to the new technology, new version, improved version from this one? So this will also count as a contribution. I'll tell you, my first contribution was I just rectified a grammatical mistake and indentation error that was there in the documentation file, and that was my first contribution. So you can just go to there as well. See, this is the particular documentation website. You can get involved in this. A lot of big projects are there. They have everything mentioned over there. If you feel lost somewhere, just go through their guidelines they have provided. You will never get lost. It is everything that is being shown over here. Okay. So, have you all got an idea on how you can start with it? How you can navigate to finding your first issue or contributing?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am?
Just take a sentence to your mind that open source is for everyone, not only for engineers or computer science students. It is for everyone who is interested. You just have to be interested genuinely, nothing else. Okay. And also by the way,
Ma'am?
let's just okay. Yes. Hello.
Yeah, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, you're audible.
Yeah. When making contribution, ma'am, is it possible? Is there any need for someone to register before then?
No. There is no need to register. I told you how you can do this on your own. Okay. This was I was explaining if you were moving on your own. Now
Yeah.
I will tell you about all the programs that you can be a part of. Okay. And those programs will, if you get selected, they will provide you with mentors who will guide you through this process. Like I'm guiding you how to do your first contribution, how to start with it. Similarly, in the program that you will get involved, they will have maintainers of a particular project and they will guide you. They will help you do all of the stuff. Okay. So no
Okay.
need to worry. If you are a beginner, I'll tomorrow you will do your, if you haven't contributed to anything, tomorrow you will have your first contribution listed. You will get your
Okay.
GitHub ready. So
Okay, ma'am.
you'll get some confidence through it and you can just proceed after that. Okay.
All
As
right,
I have
ma'am.
said,
Thank you.
just follow the steps. Okay. Just
Okay,
follow the
ma'am.
steps.
Okay.
Okay. So this is how we should proceed. This is one website where you can get all of the organizations, all of those projects that are taking part, where you can contribute. Okay. Now let's move on to the various open source programs. All right. So these are the list of all the programs. We have the Google Summer of Code that I said. It is yearly. It happens yearly during the summertime, like in the month of May, I guess. And the application starts from the early January or December. You need to look for it. When it starts, you can go over here, go to this about, and you can see the timeline. Okay. Here, the timeline. You can see January, the organizations applied, the organizations that are going to take part in Google Summer of Code. Then organizations will be announced till March 10th, and student applications started from March 29th. So this is when your application starts. For this particular thing, you need to have an application. Like you need to have a documented file. They will provide a template. It is specific to the repository or the project you're contributing. Go to their repository, they will show you that for Google Summer of Code, we have this template and you need to follow to file your application. You have to apply over there. You need to say why you are interested and what you have contributed to that project before becoming a Google Summer of Code student. I cannot stress more upon the fact that you need to get started early. Before involving in this programs, you have to have some knowledge about this project that you are going to take part in Google Summer. This will have an edge over other students who are applying. Like if you are involved in the project and have interacted with the community members, they'll know that when you apply for this project, they will know, yes, we know this person, this guy, he has contributed to our project in this manner, so he is interested and he has these skills to help, and he will do well in the long run as well, so we should consider him. So you will get an advantage over others. As a student, you will get an advantage. Further, like this is the timeline. You can see all of this. Similarly, we have the Google season of docs. This is only for documentation for all the people who are really interested in documentation and do not want to move on to the technical things very soon. By the way, I forgot to mention that you also get a stipend of for around $3,000 for 3 months for taking part in this program. So this is a paid opportunity. All of these are paid opportunity. You will get some kind of stipend from here. You will not work for free. You will get some kind of stipend. Also, it will enhance your programming skills. Also, it will enhance your experience. So it will give a better edge when you approach for placements or any company you want to get into. So this is the season of docs. You can see how you can get started over here. They have written. They also have a YouTube channel, so you can go over there as well. And you can find all of the information, the guidelines, how you can get started, what it is done. Okay. See, the Google season of docs will operate as a grant program. This you get some kind of stipend over here as well, like $3,000 to $5,000. You can see the timeline over here. When is the program announced? How you all can do all of these. All of this, I'm going very, very naive way. If you want to get involved very deeply in it, you have to do your own research. If you face some kind of problem somewhere while applying to this, you can reach out to me. I'll help you out. And this we also have Google Summer of Earth Engine, like for people who are really interested in Earth and its sustainable technology and want to improve all of these. You can apply over here as well. Also, there is Outreachy. This is a diversity program. So even if you like, they only accept. This is very, very competitive. Very competitive. Like people all over the world apply for it, like 10,000 or 15,000. I don't know. I don't remember the exact amount of people apply to it, but only handful of it, like only 75 to within 100 people get accepted. So you can imagine what kind of complexity and what kind of build up they have for selecting students. This is very tough, but this is not. I don't say that this is absolutely impossible. It is possible. I know people who have got this. I have friends who have got this, who have got involved in it, got an outreach internship, and they also get an amazing stipend of $6,000 for the 3 month of work. So it's completely amazing because this COVID pandemic is going on, so they have reimbursed the $500 they give the travel stipend. You get to travel to North America or Europe somewhere where they host their meetups for the outreach interns. So you get a $500 travel reimbursed for that. But since COVID is going on, you get a complete amount, like 5,500 is your stipend for the work you do, internship, and 500 for your travel. But this is totally given to you right now as a $6,000 because since COVID is going on there and there can be no in-person meetups right now. So see, this is the May internship cohort. They have two cohorts, I guess. One for north side, the people out of India, and for Indian people. The Indian people, they suggest to apply during the summers. They have a summer internship, and for the the winter part, they suggest the people out of India, like in Europe or somewhere. They suggest those people to apply to those because since our curriculum doesn't matches their curriculum, so there's a conflict. Okay, so you can also get involved in MLS fellowship. This is very interesting. It just started a year or two ago. You have 3 tracks. You can apply now here. You will get to know all of the 3 tracks about it. Like this has a open source track. This also has a over here. This is an open source track. This is a software engineering track, and this is a product engineering track. Open source track, you will be contributing to open source softwares. Okay, and for the software engineering track, you will be collaborating with real life projects, real life companies. Like it's a kind of internship you get to do. You will collaborate with them, and you will develop your personal projects and also their projects. This also has a stipend of $3,000 or something. I may be wrong, but around 3,000 they have. Similarly, we have Focetia Code Heat. It goes on all over the year. It is for all around the year. We also have Girl Script Summer of Code. This is free. This most of you get accepted. Most of us gets accepted. This isn't paid, but you have a lot of learning opportunities over there. And another thing is Digital Hacktoberfest, DigitalOcean Hacktoberfest. This particular program occurs during the month of October. This goes on for the whole month of October. So what you can do is if you contribute to any if you get your contribution any your 10 PRs merged in any Hacktoberfest labeled repository, you will get a swag from DigitalOcean delivered to you. Okay, so you can take part over this. This is a month-long open source program. It's very cool. Also, we have LFX and open mainframe projects, like people who are really into cloud technologies, who really love working with cloud and infrastructure and edge devices, like in the DevOps side, like for the Kubernetes or Docker. So if you're alien to these terms, no need to worry. These are similar terms or similar technologies that are being used today. You can learn all about these, and you can get your internship. This is also very competitive. I will say this is also very competitive. See over here, you can apply. You can apply to all of the cloud native projects you like, and this is for all the blockchain enthusiasts. There's also a particular project program for it, like the Hyperledger mentorship program. You go over to the website. See over here, you can have part-time, full-time mentorship. You can apply to all of these. Okay, how you can apply everything is mentioned over here. You also get a stipend. This isn't free. You also get a stipend for it. Okay, all of this is mentioned. You can see the mentorship projects that are listed for this year. Maybe you would try for the next year. See, this one project is accepting for the fall term application, like for in the August period, like during this time. You can go over here and learn more about this, read the description, objectives, and see what all skills are required. If your skills match to it, just head on to this project, learn more about it. and do the steps that I told you. And also never forget to join the mailing list. Okay, so you can contact with your mentors. Never don't directly send them a particular mail or a message without any motive. Like for example, if you did get involved in this, you sought to have some kind of idea which can improve the project, so you can directly mention, you can mail to their mentors, or you can seek guidance from them for this as well. For that, you for your little queries or issues, you have their mailing list as well. You got to find the mailing list. You can watch over here a lot of things. See over here eligibility, how you can apply, everything is mentioned. Okay, so we also have another, this is unpaid, but you will get hold of a lot of new concepts like the Winter of Code. It happens for a month every year. It is being hosted by various universities, like there's one for IIT Kharagpur, KWOC, Kharagpur Winter of Code. So you can get involved in that. You can get involved in the project. You can contribute to the project. So this will also help as a experience. This will also increase your experience. So there are a lot of programs. You just need to search in the Google. This is some that I could get hold of, and I mentioned. And there are much more than this. Just search, open your horizon, and you can find a lot of opportunities. Okay. So let's move on to questions. Anybody having any question? Hello?
Yes, ma'am. I just have a query that how you deal with such a large code bases, like when you start contributing to the open source, how you deal with the large code bases.
Okay. So as I told you, you went to this repository, okay, and you see this code base, and you go like, how can I contribute to this? This is so big. I don't know a bit of it, anything. I don't know anything. How can I contribute? So this happens with everyone who is starting. No, don't worry. As I told you, just go through their documentation first. Okay, just go through their documentation first. And if you find something from here, if you find any kind of issue, you can raise an issue over it. Don't first think of contributing directly as a code. Okay, you just need to get involved in it. You might take your time. It may get like 2 months or 4 months, it may take to get your first PR or get your first contribution. So that's particularly okay, that's fine. The first step you take is very difficult. After that, it will be a cakewalk for you. Okay, you just go to the issues tab and you file an issue that you find an issue. Also, what you can do is, I like, I don't understand how is this being solved. So what you do, you just open this one, anyone, like pull requests that have been already solved. Okay, not the issues. You go to this one, anyone that you choose that you are interested, you think that this is competent to me, go over there and just shadow it. Okay, what do I mean by shadow is, you just watch this, you just follow how these people are improving this one, how these people are solving this problem. Okay, how these people are solving this problem. You can find the commits, what all commits has been made, what all checks has been performed, and the files change. This is where you will find the code. You compare with the previous code before merging, what was there, what was missing, and what has been added. See, this guy just added 5 lines. This guy just added 5 lines and he contributed to React, Facebook. You don't need to think that I will have to write thousands of lines of code. Even just a single line of, like, if this guy had missed this bracket over here, and he isn't aware that there's a missing bracket, but you find that yes, there is a missing bracket and I can help resolve it. So you go over there, you make aware that person, hey, the report is missing a bracket, which will get an error when you put this up to the main code. So it would be better if you just change it, or if you let me change it. So this is how you approach. You just added this bracket, okay, and yes, that's how you got your first contribution. Look for opportunities. I'm repeatedly telling, look for these little opportunities. Don't dive deep. Like before, I will first learn everything about this topic. I will learn everything about this technology, and then only I will contribute. No,
Ma'am,
don't do that. Okay. Hello. Yes.
ma'am, sorry, I just want to ask again.
Okay.
Yeah, if I can understand you very well now, if somebody has doubt, so there is no need to write all the quotes. You can only go directly to the question and ask.
Yes, you can directly go to their mailing list. Okay.
Okay.
The mailing list or the chat channels they have, like Gitter or Slack or Discord, anything they have there that is being
Yeah.
mentioned in the repository. You go over there, you introduce yourself first, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and you just
Yeah.
ask your issue and ask that what you did. You have to first tell what you did. Like people won't help you even if you haven't helped yourself first. So they see if you helped yourself first, then they will help you. So
Okay.
help yourself first. Use Google. Try to find what is your issue. Then
Okay.
ask the people, and they will happily help you out.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
So Harshit, is it clear how you can get your first contribution?
Yes, ma'am, that's
How you
very
can
much
get
clear.
involved?
Yeah, that's very
Okay.
much clear. Thank you so much.
And don't worry, you don't need to read out or find each and every folder, because that's none of your business right now, right? You are only concerned with this issue. So you need to find where this issue is. Here you can find this issue. This particular repository or this particular file has the issue. So I will only be concerned with this one. I don't need to worry about other things. All right. Okay.
Yes, ma'am,
So
getting it.
do we have any other questions?
Am I audible?
Yes. Yes. Very much.
Okay, so, as you said that if I learn about a documentation of one particular project,
I'm
so
sorry. There's some kind of noise. You're not audible quite clearly.
okay, how about now?
Yeah. It's fine. Thank you.
Okay, so as you said that if I read about the documentation of one project,
Yes.
and let's say I get my first PR, so
Okay.
do I need to stick with that project, or should I immediately jump to a different project and read another documentation?
I didn't get your question right. So
Okay,
could you please
so
repeat?
let's say I spend some time, reading about one project, learning the tech stack and learning about things about one project.
Okay.
So, and if I get one PR,
Hmm.
so should I, stick with that project? Should I stick with the project for some more times to get more issues solved? Or should I immediately jump to another project so I can learn more about different
Okay.
projects? Like, which is the better strategy?
Okay. I'll tell you one thing. The reason why I told you should get involved in big projects, big repositories, because it has involved a lot of technologies. So you don't need to worry about learning different technologies. Like if you like, have you heard the saying that jack of one and master of none, or something like that? I might be wrong. I don't know.
Yeah,
So
jack
it's
of all and master of none.
exactly. That's it. I'm sorry, I messed it up. So okay, it's just that thing that you're trying to say. If you try to jump from one repository to another again and again in lieu of learning new technologies, you will not learn anything. You will not learn anything very deeply. If you are trying to get, like, you are interested, you know one tech stack. Okay, you know, like, what language do you know?
Uh, you know, uh, Python, Java, C++.
Okay, which one you're more comfortable with?
Python, I guess.
Okay, so you're comfortable with Python. And are you interested in machine learning?
I was, but not anymore, I guess.
Okay, okay. So just maybe you're interested in Python. So you go to the Python, the one that I showed you in the beginning, the Python repository, for example. So you read that one. If it interests you, okay. First think where your interest lies. If you're really interested in this particular project, you will stick to it no matter what. Okay. If you're not interested, that's okay. You can move on to another repository. You read the documentation, you get involved in the community, and you help the develop the project. So even if you do a small contribution, it will count. But that doesn't mean that you will leave that project and you move on to another repository. You can simultaneously do that, but what a particular project, a community wants is that people who stick to the project, people who help develop the project through a long time. Okay, you have to keep that mentality that you will not get involved in a particular project for the sake of just merging your PR. You have to keep a mentality of
Okay, got
learning.
it.
Yeah, you have to keep a mentality of learning, and this will give back to you surely. You don't need to worry. You will learn a lot of technologies from it. So never worry about it. And if you're interested in some other project, sure, you can definitely contribute to that. That's absolutely fine. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Got it.
Okay. So do we have any other queries?
Ma'am, I sent a message in the group in the chat.
You sent a chat?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. There be a review or video? Well, I did explain. I'll overview this one for you. Okay. I'll just go through what we went, what we did, what we discussed. So we just discussed what open source was, what open source is, what is the exact meaning of it, and what are the benefits of open source in software engineering. Okay, and then we discussed how we as students can get involved, how you can be a part of the community, what all benefits it has for you. Also, then we discussed the various open source programs, and that's it. If you have any other queries specific to it, you can just ask it over here. I'll be happy to clarify it.
Ma'am,
I'll share
I-
the PPT. If you want, I'll share the PPT. If you want, I'll share the presentation.
Yes, yes, ma'am. We need the PPT.
Okay, I'll just share just a moment. I'll share it in the chat.
Ma'am, if somebody wants to do contribution, how does the person start to do the contribution?
If someone wants to do contribution, then
Yeah, how does the person how do you
how to do that?
yeah, how do you start there?
Okay.
Because I was not around when you started teaching them.
See, you just have to follow very basic, simple steps. Okay. You first have to know, like I'm telling you, what technology do you know? What language are you comfortable with?
I like Python.
Okay, you like Python. Okay, that's
Python.
good. You go to any of these websites. Okay, I'll recommend to start with this one because it's very easy to navigate. Others you can also find. Okay, it's also fine. You can find communities, spawns over here. You can find also, but I'll suggest you to start with it. You go to an organization tab in this website, Google Summer of Code. Okay, you type Python. All right. So you type Python and you see all of these repositories are made, has their code base in Python. Okay, like this TensorFlow or like KeyWix, Kodi, LibreOffice. This is a Linux document project application. Okay, so you just start with any project, like if you like this project, Koala. Okay, So you see the technologies. Yes, it has Python 3, it has Django. You don't need to worry if you don't know all of these. Docker, Haskell. If you don't know, no need to worry. Just if you see this seems interesting to you, go to the learn projects. More you learn more about it. Learn what this project about. Okay. Go to their website. You can see the docs, the resources, the chat where you can join the mailing list, as I said, where you can ask your issues or your problems. You can see how you can install Koala. First, you will just use it. If you haven't used this particular application, you will use it. They have also told you how you can install it, okay, how you can get started. Just install it, just know how this works, play with it for some time, then go to the repository, okay, go to their GitHub. Over here you can find their documentation, okay. You can also find the documentation over here mentioned explicitly as docs, like this. Everything will be mentioned over here. Just read through it, skim through it, okay. Don't just first worry about contributing. First learn, go to the source. You find this, okay, you see this repository. All right, now you go to issues. Like you have read the documentation, you have gained some experience using this particular project or this application, and you're very confident that I might start with it, I might help this contribute, I might help in developing this particular application. So you just search over here issue that is open. You can search for good first issue, okay. Just click enter, and all the issues that are good, beginner friendly will be listed. Like this one, difficulty newcomer, this is called missing comma C. So this is so very basic. There's a missing comma in the doc string, and you just need to resolve the doc string comma. You just have to add a comma, and that's it. You just got your first contribution. See, like they are, how politely they all are asking, I would like to work on this issue. You can just ask all of these, like these people are working. Since these people are working, you don't need to worry about contributing to this PR, but just get a hold of it, how this is working. Learn, shadow this one, shadow few issues, just see how these things are working before jumping into see how these people are doing. Like they have closed the issue. Like here you can see the changes he made. What all changes he made? See, he made the plus sign, this green bar means these are the new changes that were made, and this red bar means this was removed from the file, okay. He made changes to some files. So in the first file he made these 3-4 lines. He just added 3-4 lines. In the second file he just removed 2 lines. You just have to go through it, okay, and see over here, just he added nothing, just a line. And see, this is the indentation issue that I was talking about. You see there is an indentation error. He just removed the indentation. Like in Python, you are very much aware of how the indentation is important. You will get an error if this indentation is not working out. So he has just fixed the indentation. See, he just fixed the indentation, and that's it. That's it. He made his contribution. I think it's clear, Paul.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Still here, ma'am.
Okay, so do you have any other queries?
So, ma'am, everything is done in GitHub website.
Sorry, I didn't get you.
Everything is done in GitHub website.
Yes, everything will be found in GitHub. The code that you were using, like tomorrow I will show you how you can set up your GitHub if you haven't done yet. You just go to Google, like write GitHub. This is where you start. This one is, since I already have my account, just go to github.com. Wait, I'll just show you. I'll just sign out. Okay. Okay. You'll end up with a page like something like this. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
For today, all of you do what is, if you haven't set up your GitHub account, just go to here, just sign up. Okay, just sign up. You enter your email, like mine one is. So I will just continue with it. You just create a password. Okay, you just create a password, and then you just continue. Since I already have, I don't want to have another account, so I'll just take it over here. All right, just set up your account. Tomorrow I will tell you what all things you need to do. Simultaneously you can do that as I demonstrate you. Okay, and you will land your first contribution. You will contribute very much tomorrow. No need to worry about that. And I will also explain, if you're not familiar with Git and GitHub, I will just go through the very basic stuff so you can just start with it. All right.
Okay.
So are we left with some other queries? Hello?
No, ma'am.
Yes, yes, hello.
No, I say we are okay, ma'am.
Hello, Saleh. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, ma'am. I'm saying that we are okay.
Yes.
No much query, ma'am.
What? I didn't get you.
What I'm saying,
No
I say we are
queries.
okay. No much queries, ma'am.
No, not much queries.
Yeah.
Okay. So everything is clear, I hope.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So I guess you people will go now and explore all the technologies and how you can start with it.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so
okay.
yeah. Thank you so much, Subhashmita. You have been so much dedicated throughout. Blessed to have you here. I'm sure you have made everything crystal clear to our audience. The PPTs and everything were really understandable. The live demonstration, it was really amazing. We are looking forward for more beautiful sessions like this from you. Thank you so much. So, since we have no more queries, we have reached to the end of this event. Thank you all for being cooperative throughout and making it a wonderful session. With this, I wind up today's event on open source contribution, hoping to have more wonderful sessions like this in the future. Cheers to the club. That's all for today. Wishing you good hours ahead. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you
ma'am.
so much
Thank
for
you, ma'am. We
joining.
appreciate, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
And also